Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second case of the Golden Ticket. We're here with Thrythlind and Anne. And I, of
Hi.
course, am Brenwyn Weir.
Hi. Okay.
So, before we get started, a little bit of bookkeeping. When we were working out build-up points, we were looking at the book and we realized that we were doing build-up points wrong previously. You are supposed to get build-up points when a theme cracks or fades equal to the number of tags that you have minus 3, and then plus 1 to that for each theme improvement. So
That makes it a minimum of 1 per theme.
Indeed.
Unless you break a nascent theme, but yeah. And what we were reading it before is you get build up for each thing beyond the initial 4 tags you start with. That was my fault since I was the one that was reading it first.
It's okay. The book can be a little arcane at times.
Okay.
All right, so this session of our new case 2, Canaries in the Coal. We need to start off with a bit of quite a bit of setup. We need to work out what has happened, what have people done for the last little while. There will be a time. Okay, so we will be getting a downtime montage that you'll be able to use, but let's work out a bit what's been going on. So you drove back to the city. Pete Forrester, who was severely injured, is taken to hospital and eventually will make a full recovery. Lucy was unharmed aside from mental trauma and will have to undergo counseling for that. Misha is also relatively unharmed, but seems to be developing a mythical power of her own, which will probably bring her back into contact with Random and the rest of the gang again. At the very least, Laurie is going to keep a further eye on her, as he will the rest of the surviving students. Laurie is going to be having a lot of difficulties. He's having problems sleeping at night, is extremely tired during the day, and that's going to be affecting his duties. Random will be put through the I'm guessing that Random will have, like, Laurie at the very least will report, Random's appearance and explain what happened to the police, believing that, all of these friends and students and everything were massacred. There's going to be huge questions asked, right? Random just appeared out of nowhere. Where did she come from? All of that. That's the job for the That's a job for the
police. Yeah.
It won't. For a while, it starts going down that way, but then gradually, as time passes, the police seem less interested, and then it's discovered none of these people who died it's almost like they didn't exist. The police can't find files on them. There's no records, or if they do find files, which they do in quite a few cases, these students or teachers transferred to a different city a long time ago, or like a year ago, or several months ago. You know, they're according to everything, they're fine. They had no cause to be on a camp in the middle of the woods, which drives Laurie a bit crazy. When they look for, it takes a while as they're looking for how to deal with random's appearance. It's like sudden appearance and arrival in the city. They don't seem to take her tale if she talks about where she's come from at all.
It would be very indecipherable because on the one hand, she tends not to lie. On the other hand, the way she talks, she takes things as such a she takes some things for such given that most people would consider are bizarre, that it's hard to take anything she says on face value. So
yes, so generally, whatever Riley says bamboozles the police. She gets a psych report back that says she's obviously deeply troubled. Then eventually, out of the blue, they come back with a DNA match for random for someone called Riley Dorsey, who disappeared as a small child, and apparently now that's random has a name.
she kind of blinks at that. She's like, I saw the milk carton. Nod. That's as much as a reaction of that to that name she gives at the first.
Unfortunately, the original Riley Dorsey, whether or not random believes that is actually her, herself, I mean. Unfortunately, the original Riley Dorsey's parents are deceased. So, and there's no next of kin or anything like that. So it seems as if Riley is going to have to go through the system and find a guardian and everything.
I feel almost as though we can probably handle that. We have adults.
Yes. With Elaine being willing to take random in charge, I'm assuming she is willing to do. Would it take persuasion?
It does seem reasonable. Yeah, random seems fine enough. It's additional connections to stop me from going insane and winding up like Veronica.
And to be honest, if it wasn't one of Laurie or Elaine, random would disappear within a couple days and probably be quickly on down the route towards Avatarville.
Also, Elaine's benefactor is able to,
and
quite
we prefer the term client.
Client, indeed. Elaine's client is quite willing and even eager to grease the wheels so that the paperwork goes through with mysterious and supernatural alacrity.
Random has no idea how disturbing that is. I do.
Yep. Which is how Random winds up being enrolled as a student in Clock Tower High School.
Clock Tower High School?
Yep. It's a lovely urban high school. Think very tall buildings. It does have some grassy areas and a little park and everything for kids to, to have lunch in and everything. Of course, there are very high walls around the compound and bars on the windows and everything. But it sits in the shadow of an enormous clock tower that is just across the road. Clock Tower High School is also the high school that Laurie works at as a counselor, and is the high school where Misha, Pete, and Lucy return.
Because it's not like we're trying to set up some coincidence to stop Random from going nuts.
And
Sorry, was that unsubtle?
And it's not like we set the first power tag on our crew theme as campus conditions.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay.
Clock Tower High School is pretty normal for, well, when Elaine visits and, Laurie obviously works there. It seems normal to them. There is, and normal to everyone really. There are kids there. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are good students, others are not. There's a lot of social jockeying and positioning, and the teachers are all a bit world weary and, often frustrated with their students for not boosting the school's test scores. So, how is Random going to be dealing with, just an overview? What's her not regular day like, and is she making friends? Is she a loner? What is happening? Yes, we'll get to Elaine in a moment.
Okay. For one thing, I think she's probably found a t-shirt based off of Alien Resurrection. Since one of the reasons she leaned so heavily towards Xenomorph is because of that movie, and Riley, the Riley clone in that movie being one of the few good monsters she knows that lives.
You watched a lot of movies while you were in a lab cage.
Yes. So she probably wears the Alien Resurrection t-shirt probably more than she should. Either that or she's got two versions of it. But still you have to still probably Elaine has to wrangle getting it out for laundry. As to making friends, she probably doesn't go out of her way to meet other people. That's dangerous. And probably stays out of easy appearance. She's probably also in a lot of special classes because of limited communicative skills. Yeah.
Would she attempt to stay friends with Misha, Pete, and Lucy?
Oh, yes. Those are people she's attached to. Those are characters in the movie. They're already characters. She already has to deal with them.
Then she would note that Pete and Lucy, like as it seems much of the surrounding people in the city, and from the noticeable lack of mourning amongst the student body, they're all forgetting the people that died during the attack on the park ranger station.
That funny. There are. She starts like thinking like things like it, um, and Nightmare on Elm Street 2, stuff like that. Cases where the survivors in the second sequel were trying to convince people that it would convince each other it was just a dream.
Yes, Laurie and Misha, and also Elaine. Well, Elaine's probably not too vexed by it. She might be a bit more used to this happening. But Laurie and Misha, for sure, are quite vexed that everyone is forgetting all of these people, and they seem to be the only people that remember that these people even existed. When you meet Laurie again, because Laurie will certainly be assigned as random school counselor, he will probably mention that these people have he's looked for their case files and everything, and there were kids that Laurie worked with amongst the people who died who have been noted as having moved away within the last year, and are living in a completely different city somewhere, and all different places. Very few of them have just, like, their files are simply gone. And not even people's families remember that these people exist.
They're very happy. They're very happy and they're living on a farm. Good one, Anne. Yeah, Random wouldn't know how to process whether that's normal or not. I mean, because, you know, from movie to sequel, a lot of times it's like some people remember everything that happened previously and some people forget everything. So she has no context for understanding what's going on. She's been separated from regular society most of her life.
Would she mention that to Laurie during one of their sessions?
It's hard to say. It's like sometimes people forget in the sequel.
Laurie would probably try to reassure her that that's not the way things work in the real world in his experience. Or at least this is the first time he's seeing that it's working this. However, how is Elaine reacting to being the guardian of a apparently 17-year-old
feral teenager?
This is very novel. Of course, Elaine doesn't really have a day job. She has a hobby. You know, something to keep her from going mad. Generally, she's probably getting on fairly ordinarily, except for, I guess, mentoring Random, encouraging her to maintain, or at least achieve, human connections with people that are not at all, you know, abnormal like us. Because if you run out of those, you start to get a bit like the vampire, and you don't want that. Yeah, Elaine comes off a lot more like a mentor than anything else, I think. That seems to suit. I mean, she will definitely play the part when, if anyone ever bothers to inspect.
At the very least, Laurie will.
Oh yes, but we're not strictly sure Laurie fits into the connections to people that are not like us category.
This is true.
I tend to think between Laurie and Elaine, the idea that random's been a lab experiment will probably come out at some point, though details and the extent of experimentation likely not, because random doesn't know how to communicate that.
If that comes out, you will probably also get a rundown of what it was like to die the first time. Because hey, if you're sharing, I should share. That's fair. That's what people do.
How is Elaine keeping an eye on Rand, considering that her client also desires that you keep an eye on?
Well, I kind of figured that teaching at the school probably didn't work out when they realized the monster must not speak. It's real hard to keep control of a class of 17-year-olds with no word. So I suspect Random has been unmonitored for a week or two while Elaine makes a new puppet for infiltration purposes. Congratulations, it's a sister.
Oh dear.
How old is this sister?
She's 16, but she was born in June, so she's in the year above.
Alright, so is this sister also called Elaine?
I probably shouldn't say yes, should I? That would be dumb.
Well, you can have a junior as a woman.
No.
I mean, there's a Sydney Junior.
In fact, you know what? It's going to be June, which is short for junior, but we're not telling anyone that.
Got it.
Is June good at making friends or enemies, or does she mostly hang out with our ragtag group of misfits?
Despite the keeping watch on, I think June probably does an excellent impression of a young sibling that needs lots of protection from on account of the monster must not speak. High school people are not nice.
Yep.
Agreed. That's why I'm looking forward to Random's future notation of having anger management issues. Not that there will be any anger in the responses that are likely to happen to cause that, but eh. Okay. Are we moving on to the downtime move at this point?
We are indeed. I'm about to press the button.
Cool.
Are you're preventing us from all having pushed the button?
Yes!
Hugs?
Many hugs.
Okay.
So yes, who would like to go first? Actually, no, let me go first with Laurie. Laurie is going to explore his mythos. Laurie is going to be exploring Undead Taint. Who is Veronica? So Laurie has been spending his time looking through old records, looking at the missing persons reports, things of that nature. Old newspapers, good old-fashioned research with some new twists, such as we have the internet in this world.
Oh, good. I hadn't known whether we had determined whether the internet was a thing or not.
Yes, I'm sure it's spotty in certain places. It probably doesn't work too well in Old Town unless you are fabulously rich. But yes, there is internet. I'm kind of going with the idea that we're in a kind of shared universe here, so there are probably drones and such like there were in our previous game.
Oh, cool. I wasn't sure they'd be included because you were mentioning you were including characters from the previous game, which is slightly less cyberpunk.
Well, the thing is, it's the city.
This
The
is
genre changes depending on what district.
this is very true.
Yes, Laurie's been doing a lot of that research in addition to looking into the people who died or apparently simply have just disappeared after the park ranger station. There are some reports of a weather balloon crashing into a gas main that blew up the station and killed an unfortunate park ranger, but that's the only report. It's mostly a human interest story, or at least reported on that way by someone we might be familiar with.
Ah, Indira.
Indeed. This frustrates Laurie a lot, so he's also looking into the but as he's looking into these disappearances, he's noticed that there are other disappearances that go on in the city. Of course, there is. Missing persons are everywhere. But in particular, around the school, there are people who have disappeared who are remembered and have people looking for them. And the burning question that he has is, why did the people in the park station simply vanish and have all memory and trace of themselves wiped away? What makes those people different from these people who very obviously have left traces and people do remember them? Who would like to go next?
Oh, if Thryth has something, I do need to do a little bit of a looking, but if you don't, I can go.
I think I will go ahead and go. She is also going to be exploring her mythos in the form of the monster from the garden.
Interesting. I was thinking that you would give attention to one of your works.
I considered it, but she just got put in the house. So the question of where is home is going to be there. What is safety is also close. I considered adding to grappling with humanity, but also I looked at how difficult it is to get attention on things, and I'm thinking I need another weakness on mobility because placement limits shows up more often than I thought, but still is kind of rare. So, so I'm looking at putting another weakness on Monster from the Garden in the future.
Right. This is good.
But she spends a lot of time learning the ins and outs of Elaine, of her new place where she's expected to be, and these people that are interesting her that are apparently the characters that are along with her, and she's now in this period between two movies, and learning the ins and outs of the school and the house that she's in, and where she can connect it to the garden and such.
All right, so that gives you a clue. Do you want to spend that clue?
Oh,
I should also mark attention on that mystery's theme. I missed.
yeah, that's actually I'm going to ask a question on that clue, and that is, how did I learn anything about the garden that I didn't know before?
Yes, let me see here. While exploring the garden, you occasionally come across some mirrors.
The garden has mirrors now.
Yep.
Okay, I'll note that down on the flip side. Thank you. She's going to go up to one in her true form, which is going to be slightly elongated nails, slightly reptilian features, slightly too large eyes with too much black, and kind of click, 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 tap on the mirror and kind of investigate it, seeing if it's a danger or not, and eventually leaving it be and going back and maybe eating one of the lizards that populate the garden. And that's
Give me a not sure whether to say give me an investigate or take a risk.
we could just leave it as a foreshadowing of future events and leave it for now.
All right. Well, I'll say that unbeknownst to Random, after she turns away, a slender shadow turns and looks at her through the mirror before stepping out of the frame.
Oh, lovely. Okay. Pass it on to Elaine then.
Indeed. Before Elaine starts, sorry, you have marked the attention?
I have. Yeah, it was at
Okay.
0 at the start.
I have marked the attention on Undead Taint, which means because it's a nascent theme, I get to a power tag, and I'm going to go with predatory senses at this point.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Elaine, sorry.
So basically, I was thinking that making the younger puppet identity probably counts as exploring mythos for the puppet body one. But also that offhand mention of talking about her death with I've started calling her Riley now. You see what with Random might also count as giving attention to the Logos for the defining event. The thing is, marking attention on either of those will fill the attention. Does that happen now or at the end of the session?
It happens when it's convenient to happen.
Wicked. Well, I'm going to put it on puppet body, and I will take the unbreakable improvement.
Nice.
Which is face danger with power tags from this theme is dynamite.
Very nice indeed.
But I think I'm going to keep the clue for later use.
Excellent.
Well, one of us is going in with resources. Huzzah.
I think you've met me before, right?
Indeed.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new session and the new case of the Golden.
You got cut off a little bit?
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, it's right at the beginning. Might as well. Sorry.
It's okay. Yes?
Okay, I was just saying, confirming, yeah, there'll be a time skip.
Yeah. We need to work out what has happened, what have people done for the last little while. There will be a time skip.
Yeah, okay. We might want to suggest that one to Son of Oak Games. They're looking for new riffs for places as well as people. But that for blooper later. Okay.
Another thing for the blooper reel, I promise that there are no apparent signs of Medusa.
No apparent. It's fine as long as I don't have to do any precision platforming to get to the top floor.
Yeah, that sounds like a take of risk.
Yeah. If my previous character's girlfriend at the point we left the campaign starts showing up around the clock tower, things might get a little bit dicey and nerve-wracking for me, but that'll be about it.
That's okay. So that the school as a whole looks good.
I see you have also been in the education industry.
My parents were teachers, yes. I know how this works.
Yep.
Master of Education, woo! Well, I kind of figured that teaching at the school probably didn't work out when they realized the monster must not speak. It's real hard to keep control of a class of 17-year-olds with no word.
Been there.
Also, the city apparently runs on Australian school timetable.
Got it.
It does now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though I can confer that being born in June in America puts you into the next higher age bracket too.
Hmm.
All
All right. Oh dear.
Despite the keeping watch on, I think June probably does an excellent impression of a young sibling that needs lots of protection from rape on account of the monster must not speak.
Hmm.
And high school people are shit. Sorry,
Yes.
recording. High school people are not nice.
I considered it, but also she just recently got put in a house. Oh, I bumped the microphone. That's going to be interesting.